IG fam. Boop, 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 boop. All right, so we're going to go live today with my dear sister, Lindsay Martinellis. And so we're going to give her just a couple moments to arrive. Gosh, how did her and I even meet? I'm trying to think. Oh, I don't know, but we've done a couple podcasts together. We tend to have a lot of the same experiences and devotion and alignment around our human journey and the transformation. All right, Lindsay, I see you are here. So I think I'm going to add you. So the invitation has been sent. And here you are. Oh my God. Hello, angel goddess. Hello.
We did
Where
it!
are these ears from? How do I get some?
Etsy, I got the link on hand because I get asked quite a bit.
Okay, yes, I'm gonna need that link, bitch. Okay, love you.
I'll drop it to your beloved community because I know. Aren't they just like, I
They
mean, yes.
are divine. They see?
No, no.
Bless up, bless up, bless up, bless up, bless up. All right, sister. Welcome to the IG Live. So, for those tuning in, welcome, Divine Ones. Lindsay and I are dear sisters, and we had kind of floated it out there the other day. We're like, we need to catch up, and usually our combos are pretty juicy. We should probably just do an IG Live. And so we like tentatively put it on our calendars, and then we just messaged each other. We're like, we're doing this, right? Yeah, let's. So we know we're all going through it as a humanity. We know that as sacred sisters, we serve as mirrors for each other when we share our stories and our transformational journeys, because we all are characters and aspects of the divine. So many times, things that myself or Lindsay are going through, you will find an aspect of yourself in that, especially because both of us work in the field of spiritual transformation. So we tend to go through the rigors and the initiations before the collective goes through them so that we can help and aid people in that way. So I'm a pause and I'm just going to say, Lindsay, what's up, sister? What's going on in your life? What should we chat about? What's like coming up for you?
I'm seeing the title marquee across the screen, Divine Humanity and Equinox Juice. Of course, Equinox Juice. Yes. Yeah, I feel like last week when we decided to put this on the calendar, obviously I knew it was the equinox happening on Thursday, but when we scheduled this, of course, this is when we decided to pop in here. And I love it, right? It's truly in the merriment of our divine expression and our human journey and the full spectrum experience of what it means to be a soul incarnated in a body in this lifetime. So, yeah, I think what you and I carry codes around are, first of all, that spirituality can be sassy, it can be fun. We can drop some F bombs while dropping truth bombs, right? It's really about authenticity. And I think that's what drew me to you. And I remember the moment that we met, well, I met you through an email from Maren.
In person, I was literally like I was at the beginning of this live before you hopped on. I was like, how do we know each other? I know it's through the ethers, but like, I feel like we've hung out 17,000 times in person.
So this is where the power of authenticity and when you feel someone truly living their dharma. And Maren Bach Antonsen sent an email, and this was your first concert, which I don't remember what you called it. And I was like, what is this? I need to be a part of it. And I was, and I fell in love with you. And I reached out to you and I said, be on my podcast. And then we did 2 episodes back to back. We recorded like 4 hours of content. And it was just an immediate connection. And the flow was there. And I feel like that's so much about what this Equinox portal is about: the new beginnings, the stepping in, the doing the hard things, being scared and doing it anyway, moving through the shit that we're afraid to do to really be in our fullest self-expression. And I see you as that. And I'm like, yeah, I get to be reconnected with you again in this lifetime because you inspire me every time you show up. And hopefully I do the same for you.
Like you're already inspiring me. I love how articulate you are. You truly have such a gift of weaving words and weaving
Mm,
of energy into English words.
mm,
And I think that's something else that we have in common, which is like for me, I get reflected that too sometimes, but I don't always feel it so in flow because I'm like, I just want to go straight to light language. I'm like, because light language carries like so much more. I feel like English is like dial up internet and light language is Starlink on steroids. It's just millions, trillions, billions of bits of data and healing in one tone of light language that I don't know, just carries the equivalent of like an entire library of English word books. So I'm like, when I hear you articulate in English, I'm like, oh, this feels so good because that actually is a lot of work to take all of the translation of the quantum field and all of the data endpoints from the spirit realm and then simplify it down to just say, here's what's needed to be said in this moment is like such a true skill set. And that's why
mhm,
I love your podcast too. I think a lot of people love and follow your podcast is because you keep it real, right? Like you had mentioned, we have that in common, and we do. And in those podcast episodes, you really break things down so simply, and people feel like they're just sitting down having a cup of tea with you and kicking back. But yet, in this profound shift in their perceptions, and that's what miracles are, just shifts in perceptions that open us up to new experiences.
mm.
Yay.
Yeah, I think we're done putting people on pedestals, been there, done that. And there's something in humility that we can be confident AF and also be a humble human who knows that we are still going through the sacred shit, as I like to say, and not being ashamed. Like, I don't know, there's something so freeing about like not carrying all that responsibility as a teacher, because I don't know about you, and perhaps this is supportive for the people that are following us and that are clients of ours and that are just maybe a few steps behind in this particular arena of spiritual leadership and empowerment, is that piece around, I used to think like I'm not allowed to have any flaws. Like there was a moment in the journey of this whole experience where I was like, I gotta have it figured out. Like people are looking to me. And obviously that's all by design. And then finally, as you move through this experience, you're like, oh yeah, no, 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 no. Like that is not it. And it's really in going into the belly of the beast and doubling down on, I am here just as an ally, just like all of these beautiful archetypes here that are supporting us in the other realms, right? It's always that like shoulder to shoulder energy. And that's the kind of leader that I believe we're being all called forth into. And I believe so many leaders and influencers and teachers are really doing us a disservice when we're not sharing all of it. And it doesn't mean we have to give every part of our life away. Like we don't have to give all of our secrets away. It's not about like sharing every part of our life, but we really do get to share in integrity what it takes. And it requires full spectrum, feeling it all, going into the underworld and coming back up and sharing, like you said. And it's not for the faint of heart. And so can we talk about like the claiming and the responsibility that it's okay to say no to that? But if you really want to lead in this way, it requires you going and meeting yourself over and over again, gleaning the wisdom, and then being like, oh yeah, whoopsie, I did that thing again. All right, here we are. Like, oops, lashed out on my husband the other day, and here's what I gleaned, and here's how we reconnected in deeper ways in our relationship, and here's how we communicated better, and here's how we decided to navigate this moving forward. And me not being ashamed to share that, yeah, sometimes mom is tired. I've got a 13-month-old and I didn't get a lot of sleep. And some days, the energies are hot and, the energy comes
The energies
popping.
are hot and some days the energies are not. Okay.
With that, I digress.
You do not digress. You actually hit it right on the head. And I love this term that you use of like the full spectrum human, because I'm even like exploring my vernacular around, because I always am saying like grounding light, grounding light, grounding light. And really, or like the soul having a human experience. And although I still hold those as true, like there's a truer expression of we're just becoming fully human. Like humans have always been divine. We've always been holy vessels. We've always been
Mm.
God. And it's just a matter of sloughing off all the cages that we put on top of the God that is already here.
Mm.
And so when we do that, we are becoming proficient at dancing in the unknown because the unknown is where the highest potential lies. If we're dancing in the known, we're just dancing in data points of the past. So part of our work is like holy women, holy men, holy vessels is understanding that the more we know, the more we don't know. And that's where that humility piece comes in. Like you really realize the intricacies and nuances where anyone out there toting like a 5-step plan or you're going to be, yeah, at the end of this is, to each their own, but perhaps be wary of that. Like
Yeah.
there's different, not bringing in any hierarchy here, but for lack of, we're in the English realm, right? We have to use linearity and some descriptors. It's like moving from spiritual infancy to spiritual adolescence, from spiritual adolescence to spiritual maturity, from spiritual maturity to spiritual mastery. And I think when I was in more of the beginning stages, I really thought that there was some kind of map or formula to the universe. And I like continued to progress on my path, I realized, oh, there are some principles, there's some universal laws, but we are creators or co-creators with God, and we are one with all of existence. And there is density in existence, there is darkness in existence, there is light in existence, there is beauty in existence. So rather having it be a pendulum swing from things I don't like to things I like because I'm spiritual, it's, oh, no, I'm still at the center and I'm just becoming more and more in resonance with all that is, in more and more neutrality, and more grace, more and more poise, and more acumen in being able to shape my experience of what is.
I love that you just said that because yesterday what dropped in is me being at the center of like a string with tension and right polarity and duality. Like that's exactly what you're talking about. And so it's like, can I be centered in the full spectrum human experience, that I am not separate than from anything that I'm experiencing in my external world, and learn how to dance like this being centered in, and I'm still like integrating it, but it's like, all right, here's these two polar opposites of X, Y, and Z. And can I create harmony by not trying to banish one or saying, I don't want that, or I don't like that, or that's not me, or how dare they? Like, I'm over here. I'm spiritual now, so I'm over here, right? There's no judgment, right? We all still carry all facets of the diamond. And there's something really freeing in that, that the more that I allow and acknowledge and accept my humanity and the places that I still have a little bit of shame of, or that I still judge, or that I still make wrong from time to time, that is where the gold lives. I truly, truly believe that. And again, there's like a lot of relief in feeling that way. And I think it's really important to also express that it's part of the journey. Like, right? It's part, like you said, there's stages to everything. And I think when we do go through awakenings, it's like what the human mind does. I figured it out. Like, that's why I think there's institutions like religion and science, right? Like the mind wants to go and say, I know this. This is where I belong. This is where I fit. And then if you're like Dani and myself, we like to transcend all boxes, right? Because that is evolution. And the more questions I have, the more they're answered with additional questions. And that takes the pressure off, because I do also believe that we're here to creatively express and to play and to truly just be vessels for creation. And that's so much more fun than trying to feel like I've got to have this huge dharma and save the world. It's like, no, I just want to savor the world. Like, I just want to play. I want to have fun. I want to be in sisterhood.
From world to savoring the world. Girl, yes, sister,
Yeah.
yes. It's just like a mic drop right there. I'm just gonna, And I think that's one of those stages, right? I think when we're at the beginning of our awakening, it can be really yummy to be like, wow, all this worked for me. Everyone else is in sadness. Let me help them. Ah, and it's just like, if you're feeling that way out there, like no shame, no judgment, and just like know that that's like a stage that everyone goes through, and you can just, you don't have, no one has to save anybody. No one's here to save anybody. The most powerful thing we can do is save ourselves, grow our light quotient, grow our wholeness, grow our remembrance. And simply through that, our frequency shifts throughout all the quantum timelines, truly, 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 like beyond what the mind could even comprehend. And then we see all these really amazing shifts in the world. Now, that doesn't mean if you're in alignment and you're called to be an advocate, you're called to do a certain project, you're called to put yourself out there. It's like, yes, you're being called. Like, do the things. You're not just going to sit in your room and meditate. And we're here to savor life. We're here to understand life. We're here to be here fully living, fully turned on. The world doesn't need more experts, more know-it-alls, more maps. The world needs people with their lights and their life force fully turned on, because those are the people that give from an overflowing cup in how they are in the world and how they create in the world and the intelligences that they access and bring forth in their consciousness. It's the way they family, their friends, everything, the way we put together our systems and organizations of communities. It's just so beautiful. And so on this kind of stream of mutarahaki no shinahane transformation, I want to talk about, you've got a Greece trip coming up that you are leading. And I think, what's so incredibly beautiful about this is, well, there's like 17,000, so I'm going to name two. One, when we're talking about transformation, it's this ongoing process, like we've said, right? We're never really at the end, because if we get answers, that closes down the fountain of like consciousness, right? That's why we're guided. And like oftentimes when we get one answer, it's our answers are answered with 10 more questions, right? And so we're continuously on this journey. And what can really, really help to stabilize us in our center is having these really intentional pattern interruptions where we take ourselves out of the everyday existence, out of our everyday schedules, out of who we usually see every day, out of our usual meal structures, and we place ourselves in communities, groups, retreats where we really kind of put a full stop pattern interrupt in our neural pathways to then allow new grooves to be formed. And so that's the first thing, just within a retreat in and of itself. And then you throw in that you're going to really sacred lands. And there's so many of us that are called on these pilgrimages where we're literally going to these lands to pick up codes that we left for ourselves in other lifetimes.
It's like a treasure hunt.
It's treasure hunt. So talk a little bit about, because I'm just like, I'm so excited for you to be leading these women in Greece. And I just want to hear about, what inspired you to pick Greece as the land, and also just like share info for people to find out more.
Oh my gosh. I feel like, well, first of all, I feel like I want to share this little piece because it feels really important. I have this nagging, like, you got to say it, you got to say it, you got to say it. And I'm having this full circle moment as your light language dropped in. And it was around the same time that you and I both started publicly sharing our light language healing codes and serving in that way on the socials. And I remember when my light language dropped in, it was during eclipse season, probably like, I don't know, I have no concept of time, probably 4 years.
Season, that's hilarious.
Did you say?
I said it was during eclipse season, and now we're like between eclipses. That's amazing.
It was like 4 years ago. It was on the new moon eclipse, like it was in 2021. So yeah, about 4 years ago. And I wasn't like trying to have this come through, and it was very confusing. And even my husband was like, I believe you, I just don't know what's happening. And all of these activations were happening at night, and it was like very isolating. And I remember having some women that I knew shared light language, and so I was like confiding in them and I was sharing them, but I was even judging my light language, Dani. I was like, theirs is so eloquent and beautiful, and mine is just, I don't know where it's coming from.
Whose light language comes online, I hear that from every client.
Really?
But theirs is prettier than mine. And
it's so wild. And of course, what does the mind want to do? The mind wants to try to understand it, right? It's just so, there's so much that came up. And there was a huge piece of the witch wound, which I'll probably drop below our 2 podcast episodes because we talk a lot about the witch wound. And then I did a pilgrimage to Egypt, and in Philae temple, Isis's temple, I had a really big activation, a light language activation. And some of the women actually, there was this like, whoa energy of like, what is happening? And I felt judged. And this was my experience. And I felt too much. And like the whole rest of the trip, I made myself small. And this whole journey coming home and integrating Egypt was really stepping into my own in this way. And now I'm hosting my first international retreat with my family as a mother, which is what I've always visioned and always knew was in my Dharma. And I'm going to be able to now be a leader in this way and teach in this way and bring my light language codes in this way. And what I got is that I am here to support humanity in anchoring stability in this ley line around the world. And what I also have gotten is that the codes of Persephone, of like really going to the belly of the beast and being in the underworld and like bringing all of this beauty and exquisiteness. Like Santorini carries so much like eloquence, expansiveness, and exquisiteness, and also just so much divine mother, like healing. Like this volcanic land will just hold you and take whatever you're ready to leave behind. And so it feels very full circle for me to have now like remembering when that first came online, and then starting to share it more publicly and feeling like I was in a safety of sisterhood, feeling like, and like the what's so powerful about when we go to ley lines like this in sacred sites is I couldn't stop it. I mean, Isis was like, we're doing this. And there, I mean, I just got out of my own way, and it was powerful. I mean, it was very powerful. And this is for those that are feeling the call. Yes, in the micro moments. Yes, in the everyday. There's magic and miracles. And so much of like the spiritual gym membership for the soul is really like what we do in the day in and day out. But if we really want those quantum leaps, and if we really want to go all in, plucking ourselves out of the everyday monotony and the schedule and the automated everything and the autopilot to go in the liminal space, to be in a completely immersive environment, and to really heed the call for your own healing. And then as a byproduct, supports the healing in the collective. So I know I just went a little bit off tangent, but it felt important because I know that people that are listening to this are on their awakening journey, and they get to be inspired by like that feeling of what is happening and feeling isolated and having the mental chatter, and then starting to share it and feeling the constriction and feeling the need to, oh wait, can I do this? Oh wait, nope, here it is. Okay. And then finally being able to fully claim, this is who I am. This is what I came here with, to be of the oracular arts, which I know Greece carries so many like beautiful codes for, and to be that beacon of light. So I hope I answered your question.
Sure did, because we just went on a whole ass journey, and there's a reason. But first, real quick though, before, because we'll just, we can weave forever. What dates is the Greece retreat, and how do people find out more? Is there a link in your bio?
There's a link in my bio, and I can put in the comments here below how to connect with me. It's May 25th through 31st. Words. See, this is where now I'm like, words. May 25th through 31st, Santorini, Greece. Emergence, from limitation to liberation. It's all about transmuting what we feel is limiting us from a human standpoint, transmuting that into what liberates us, which is our divinity, and anchoring that there and bringing that home with us so that we can blast ourselves wide open in expansion. So link is in the bio at Lindsay Martin Ellis, Lindsay at lindsaymartinellis.com if this is calling you in any way and you want to go deeper.
Lindsay, I love that you were like, you listened to that like nagging in your field, that little ping, 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 ping. Because first of all, I don't know why I needed to wear this today, but this is well, now I do. So and it has like a lotus priestess on it. And
oh yeah,
I went to Philae and I went to Dendara, and I had a very similar experience to you, like same, but different. It was very much like a here's this huge wound around your voice that we're going to provoke and that you're going to integrate so that when you are home, you can actually start to
Mm.
integrate karma, right? And I think that's one of the big things is sometimes it's like rainbows and butterflies, but like also rarely is it rainbows and butterflies. Usually it's like, here's what you need to look at and face and integrate in order to become the most expressed version of your true self.
Yeah.
And it's so wonderful to be held in community and with like a really gracious, grounded leader in those things. And it's interesting. That's so interesting that your light language came on in the Isis temple. I don't even know when mine came on, but I
Oh, well, it was before that, but no, it was like, I mean, it was in my bedroom. It was in my office in 2021. I think I went to Egypt in 2023. 2022. After pandemic, I like years are weird for me. It was about a year or two after, but it was the first time that it was more public, where I was really keeping it within my own constructs of my home and my like very tight knit group. And it was the first time that I expressed it in front of people that I didn't know as well, or other people in the group.
yeah, and I feel like there's so many priestesses and oracles who we go to these lands like Egypt or like Greece, and we have these experiences that bring us into greater channeling of consciousness, of energies, of source, because my voice really opened up after Egypt in a public way. And one of my co-priestesses in the Frequency Vault, which is this 2-hour online monthly gathering where we basically speak light language and source frequency sing and also do
Mm.
anatomy with the light language, where people compare it to like a plant medicine journey, but it's just frequency, right? Where people can have remembrances and get really clear on priorities beyond the mind. It's like I hear from people all the time, they're like, I was doing pros and cons lists, I was thinking over this for like 3 weeks, and oh my gosh, I just so easily now I just know what to do now. And it's because we create a frequency chamber for their own remembrance. And that's kind of how these lands like Greece and Egypt work as well. For those of us who are called to them, we're called to them to pick up codes, to be in the frequency. Because when you're in a frequency, that opens the gateway to remembrance. And everyone's remembrance is different. But what's great about frequency is your remembrance comes on according to your soul blueprint, because you're in the highest frequency for what you're here to do. And so I've had a lot of kind of like Grecian energy circling me, and I've kind of just seen it out in the world. I think a lot of people are being called to Greece right now to yeah, to just pick up some of those lost soul stories that are ready to be resurrected. And so
Mm.
excited for you.
Thank you. And thank you for sharing the frequency vault. And I think that this is powerful that we're both sharing that it's a both and. Like, you and I host our own sacred retreats, and we also go on them. Like, we are walking the walk and talking the talk. We also participate in other people that we feel a resonance with in the form of light language journeys or channelings or transmissions or plant medicine ceremonies or whatever works for us, right? And we also host our own. And so this is the true power of the picking and the choosing of what feels resonant, of like, the land will be calling you, like the program will be calling you, right? Like you said, Dani, the activations, it's like it's already written in the stars. We just get to heed the call and say, okay, I'm ready for the frequency vault, because I know that I'm about to have a powerful experience and something's going to come online. Or I'm ready to drop in Egypt and anchor stability, harmony, and groundedness into my body. And as a byproduct, Mama Gaia and all of the 7 billion people and all sentient life gets to receive that as well. So I just want to thank you for having me on. And can I show you something really quick before we pop off?
Yeah.
Because she's looking at me. I feel in your presence the really like the deepening of the trust of like the claircognizance of what I'm meant to share is becoming so much more crystal clear. And I want to show you, that is my 6-year-old self.
Oh, hi, baby Lindsay.
And she's wearing a tiger shirt
I
and
was going
she's
to
got
say,
this
look at what she's
real
wearing. I mean, this is like, why am I not surprised?
and I just have her in the center of my altar because that is the only person that like I want to impress for the rest of my
Ooh,
life. Like, is
chill.
this chick right here? And I feel like you and I are here to show people you get like it's going to, like you have your own flavor and flair, and so do I, and it's supposed to look different. It's not supposed to look like what everyone else is doing. So if you feel a resonance with Dani and I, it's because we are going to activate through us being in our integrity. What is integrity for you? Who are you? Who are you meant to be today? What is the frequency that you get to carry? What are the codes that you get to bring forth for humanity? And there's a lot of leaders, unfortunately, that are doing what other people are doing. And it's all great, right? But I feel that you and I are up leveling in a way to really show people how to dance to the beat of their own drum. Bazina.
Oh, so beautifully put. So, so, so beautifully put. And truly, oh my gosh, I have this picture of my inner child now, like of my younger self around the same age coming. Gosh, I'm gonna have to ask my mom to find it because I want to send it to you now. Because
Please.
it's so, first of all, it's so effing cute, just like yours. And secondly, part of where we are, and I'm gonna do my best not to open up a whole nother conversation because
Because this is what we
I
do every time.
really talk for 6 hours. But it's just like the stream opens and it's like, let's fucking go. So part of one fraction that is really big of, I feel like what this next age of the collective is calling us into in our leadership is to become children again. It's to embody that pure, innocent nature, that radiant invincibilities that's like silly and playful and doesn't take things too seriously. And now I'm not being one of those people that's like, I know when you're in it and then you hear like a teacher being like, love and light, it's fine, it's easeful. It's like the most irritating thing. So that's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is, yeah, have the seriousness, have the acumen, have the strategy, have like the go-gettership, have the adulting, but also add in the moments where you can giggle, like you can laugh, you can kind of like go like boop to someone on the nose because you're just like being a playful little kid. And I've really been intentionally embracing that energy and the doors that it has opened up for me. Oh my gosh. Like me 5 years ago could have never even been in such an embodied state of my feminine because I was still too rigid around, well, if I'm silly or if I'm playful, I'm also blonde, I have a big smile, no one's going to take me seriously. No, 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 no. And that was just all wounding because when I bring on more of my child, I'm just in more and more of my radiance and I'm irresistible. You know, it's like, and when I say irresistible, I'm saying like I'm irresistible to life. Like things show up magically for me. I just had a client today message me and just say, "What's your Venmo? I want to buy you breakfast." Like breakfast on me. You know, like these little magic moments are coming because I'm saying, I am me, and my little girl wants to savor and taste everything in life. And I want to be silly and I want to be playful. And those that are meant to receive from me will only see more of my power through that lens. And that goes back to what you're saying is when we can come into the wholeness, the ownership, the spiritual authority of every aspect of us, that creates a soul signature, a frequency imprint on the world that is so powerful that it literally sends like ripples throughout. And the clients that are meant to find us will find us. The homes that are meant to find us will find us. The friends and communities that are meant to find us that will find us. The money that's meant to find us will find us. And so thank you for bringing your little girl into this. And my little girl's here. Hi, 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 love you.
Amazing.
Final words, please don't open up another conversation stream because you know we will go and I can't resist because I'm not in a place of resisting right now. I'll follow you. And I gotta go.
I gotta
So
cook dinner for my hubby and my baby. I will just leave with a little light language transmission as I'm continuing to practice
lay it on me,
and
baby.
stretch. Ara anri iki ishi turu onra aka ishi tara anri isi tu uku usha atar inri iki ituru ukushwa. That was for your little girl. Play, 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 play.
Love you. Bye.
Love you, beloved community. Blessings. Much love.